analyze books, and you have to go really deep into it. And yeah, I don't usually get very good grades on it.
Okay, so essay analysis. Alright. So I'm going to talk a little bit about like what I do in writing, and then I'll go to those questions. Okay. So when I was in middle school, there was science club, there was math bowl, there were math olympiads, and there was like a builders club, which is like random community service activity. There was like absolutely no writing club on campus, and I felt like that was a really bad thing, because then even if like kids were like, first of all, we're already predisposed to like these math and sciences, but on top of that, even if you did have like this certain urge to do language arts or certain urge to write, there was no outlet to express them through, right? So when I got into high school, maybe that's true for you guys, I don't know. But when I got to high school, then all of a sudden I did have like more of these experiences. Like there's a literary magazine on campus called Vertigo that I'm a part of and I write for a lot. And then there's like the Epic, which does the newspaper, and there's like a yearbook and stuff where you can write. But I decided that like once you get into that stage in middle school, lots of people are already like preparing for what they want to do. So when they get into high school, they already think, oh, I have to do math and sciences, because that's all they've ever been offered in middle school. So I recently just started this writing program at my local middle school. It's called Overture Literary Magazine. I wrote about it on Carl's mom's website, actually. And what we do is 2 times a month we just meet and we talk about different writing activities, and we try to get people more interested in writing. And then I think William, you're a part of it, right? Yeah, he just joined this month. And then at the end of the month, they submit like any sort of short story or prose poetry that they have written over that month, and they submit it to us, and we publish it in a monthly issue. And then we send it out to different students to see like that people are interested in doing these things, and this is what you can get out of if you actually do writing. So I think what you guys should do is you should actually be passionate about what you're writing. Like you shouldn't think of what does my teacher want me to write about. This goes along with what Carl was saying, right? You don't just do things because your teacher wants them to. You write because you actually have something to say, you actually have something you want to communicate with other people that you think like they would benefit if you hear these certain things. Like I don't think Carl comes and like gives these speeches because his mom asks him to. I think he's actually passionate about it, and you can tell when he's talking, right? He actually cares about what he's talking about, and thus the passion really shows through, because you can see that he means what he says, so you guys actually believe what he's saying. And the same thing goes for writing. Like, if you put his speech down on paper, it would make the same amount of sense, and you would show this to other people, and they would believe what he was saying as well. So for like poetry, I think that's more of a, poetry's really like abstract, yeah. It's really abstract. Like you don't say I felt sad or something. You convey it through imagery. You convey it through like the I don't know, the corners of my mouth like shifted into a grin or something. You don't just say I smiled. Things like that. You should try to portray it like when you guys have to like say I think this is really specific, but if you have to say like tears, how would you describe tears?
Waterfall.
On your face?
It's raining on my face.
Every teardrop is waterfall. Yeah, the Coldplay song. No. Like the way I describe tears all the time is I describe them as like glassy droplets, or I describe them as like beads like rolling down my faces, because I feel like that gives you more of an imagery. It gives you something that other people aren't saying when you describe it, things like that. And you can see it, and you know that you're talking about tears, but you don't outright say like, oh, tears, and have people guess it. Because when you're writing, this is what my teacher always tells me. I do AP Language and Composition, and what my teacher always tells me is that you want to make your reader feel smart. Like if I were to read a book and somebody told me everything that was going on, this person felt sad, he's going to go do this, and hopefully this is what's going to happen, I would feel like I'm not learning anything from the books. I'm not gaining anything. People are just telling me what's going on, right? So when you write any sort of essay, you write sort of poetry, you want to let your reader figure out what's going on. So you don't say things directly. You say like, oh, you hint at it in certain ways, like glassy droplets, let people figure out those are beads. Or you hint at a storyline to let people know what's going on. Does that make sense? Because this way, like, the reader will...
Colors for emotions. Colors for emotions.
Yeah, like, you know, red is not like, it's like a more passionate, it's more like vibrant, it stands out for you, and black is more of a morbid or like gruesome or sad sort of emotion, right? But going back to like critical analysis, I think that's what most people have a problem with, is most people don't teach you like how to analyze text, right? This is what goes along with the grinding thing. Like they tell you to read this text and they want you to spit something back out. But most of you guys aren't going to actually go through the text and see something. You're going to pick up on the first thing. You're going to be like, oh, he's talking about sadness. Obviously this relates, or like, what's a book that you guys have read? Do you guys read Call of the Wild, or what have you read in 7th, 6th grade-ish?
The Giver.
The Giver.
Okay, The Giver. So you guys read The Giver, right? And you're like, okay, he's talking about a foreign world. He's obviously talking about problems that we're having in this world and how when we try to make our worlds better, at least the bad things, right? But that's literally what 99% of the people in your class are going to talk about. they're not going to go deeper into the text and see other things that are going on, right? You're just going to see like, oh, this is a bad world and this is what we're headed to, so we should stop it. What you need to do is you need to actually like read the text and figure out, this is like what really stands out to me. Like, there's, what was in the giver? I don't really remember actually.
Some old guy.
Some old guy and like,
He was the
gives
giver
like
of
memories to
colors.
some young guy.
Young girl, I think, right?
No.
Guy, okay. He gives colors and he gives feelings, those things. Artistic,
Yeah, so
No,
people see it literally as like, this is a world that we're headed to. But when I read The Giver, I remember I was thinking about like, I think he's more like critiquing the mindset people are in, critiquing the mindset that like, oh, we want to be this ideal person, right? We don't want to look at like what the beautiful things are in life. We just want to do exactly what we're being told all the time. And even though that might be like what you guys think too, you think of it in terms of this is the world we're going to be headed to, instead of like, this is how things are actually right now. Like sometimes I don't really like stop and like enjoy like the little things in life. I don't see like the colors as something that like we should enjoy.